trying to get everything together first. I'll explain what we're doing. Damn. Well, I had an idea. How do I want to do this? I don't think it's that. Shoot. Well, I was going to show this. I'm still going to show it that way. It's got to work. So, alright, so what I'm doing, I am, oh, my bad. Oh my gosh. What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? Should have been eating a carrot when I said it. So, I want to talk about a really wild looking climbing technique that I've seen. So, let me get a saddle on real quick. Glad I keep this old one in here because I don't want to go outside and get all my stuff. Carrying that gear bag in was more than enough stuff to carry. Oh, and I took the payment for the first, I think this would be the first time that I got paid for the memberships. So I took that 15 bucks and bought something that we really needed to be official for our weekly live feed. So have that coming up. And I also want to, in that live feed, I want to talk about that video. I put a video in my community page for you guys to watch, and the guy is doing a tree and he's rigging it out and he ends up getting shocked and electrocuted. He rigs the branch down, it touches the wire or lands right on the wire and then lands across his lap. So he's so lucky to be alive. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to discuss it, and it'll lead into a few things that are going to help people with some rigging tricks and rigging techniques, because I think a lot of what happened there, I don't know like the exact details of everything. So I mean, he could have been just exhausted from the day. I don't know none of that. But there were some technique flaws in it that we can discuss, and it will help you guys. Specifically, he does a spider leg on the branch, and the spider leg ends up not doing what it was supposed to. What's up, Joseph? That sucks, ground pounder. Alright, so watch that video, because we're going to discuss that in the live feed, and you guys can give me your opinions, and we will discuss like why I think it didn't really work for him all that great. So yeah, GP, I always get like I don't know, I'm not talking. Yeah. I don't know what I was just thinking. I was like, gonna act like we're just hanging out together. Start talking freely like a ding dong. Second. Oh. Alright, so I can let me show you. So this, what we'll dedicate this like to, this live feed, is rescue, like emergency. So I'll show you a little trick to, if you're gonna tie in, to have you a rescue ready setup. And then also I want to show you this new climbing technique and get your opinions on it. Like, just want to show you it. It kind of blew my mind when I seen it. It's something that I've never really thought about, and I think it may lead me into a few more things that could help, like maybe with work positioning. I don't know. The problem is the practicality to it. Like, is it practical to use this in the flow, or does it kind of throw everything off? So let's just try it out. Let's see what we get into. Like I said, I've never tried this. I may look like a complete fool, but we're gonna try. So let's say you had a guy, and he was I need to get a better, longer climb line out of here real quick. Oh yeah, so what I said earlier about what the getting that for the live feed, thank you again. I'm gonna do it in every single video. To Ground Pounder, Jay, and my brother for to join in the my memberships. So if you're gonna tie in, you know, with a base anchor, you would just anchor this around. Let's do this. You would anchor this like around the tree and clip it on. So, see, that's not any. All right. You would anchor around the tree. You would climb off this other end. All right. Come over. So the problem with that is now this is stationary. It's not going anywhere. Now you can set the base anchor up to be rescue ready by doing this. So what you would do, instead of pulling all the rope so you have that there, you would pull the rope until you have just enough to do your climb. Put it right about there. Then I would take this end and hook it up to, let's just use this. Now if you don't have one of these devices, you could use a prusik, maybe even a figure 8, but okay, so I would hook like a strap on or some kind of an anchor. Then I would use the tool I like using, and it just works the easiest for me, is the gree-gree. So what I would do is set the gree-gree up onto it. the end that you need anchored. Put the gree on there. And then lock it off. Well, this thing has a trigger, so you want to see how you orientate it right for sure. Doesn't hurt to do a little backup on it that maybe you also take and clip to here. But now you have this set up and you're climbing on this end, okay? So you're rescue ready. Say I was up there and I got hot and I passed out or whatever, or I was injured, they could go over there even with me. Let's say I have all my weight into it. They could easily still go over to this, unclip the back up, take it out, and then with this set up, they could just hit the trigger and lower me. And you want enough rope on the ground here, which there should be more than enough. Let's see. Yeah, there's more than enough. So they would just lower me down out of there. And they have all kinds of rope to do it. So that's a rescue ready setup. So you could tie yourself in and somebody really maybe wouldn't have to go up there and retrieve you. But what if you do have to retrieve somebody? This is where I seen a technique and it kind of blew my mind and it instantly got me thinking about work positioning. And I was like, whoa, hang on here. I gotta try, I gotta mess with this. So let's do that. Move this. Now, just for the sake of, you know, what everyone's familiar with, I think more people would be familiar with DRT. So let's say you run up there and they say they set you a line SRT and you want to up that line, but you get up there and you're the guy rescuing, okay? You're going to get tied in up above him. And then you would come down to get on top of him so that you have the high point and you have some leverage. Well, this little trick allows you to use your body weight to pick someone up and lift them, which, like when I seen it, I'm putting it on the wrong side, my bad. When I seen it, it blew my mind. I don't think I've ever set this up, the Rope Runner Pro. I don't think I've ever set it up in DRT, like, originally. I've switched to DRT when I'm up in a tree, but this just feels weird. So you can imagine this setup just being like a regular hitch climber setup. And I think that would make maybe a little more sense to some. But a lot of guys use zigzag, stuff like that. I don't know if you could set this up properly using the zigzag. Maybe you can. I imagine you can, there's a way. But it's got to be more complicated because it's not midline attachable. So, here we are. Finally, we're set up. I'm going DRT. I'm up above, and I just work my way down to the person. Okay? Now here's where the problem comes in. This setup right here, your stationary end, can actually become like a help. So here's, on a moving system, you have a stationary end that stays anchored to you, and then you have your moving end. So in my brain, I've just always shut this rope. I don't even think about it. But this integration of this rope literally blew my mind. So let's do this. I'm going to leave that carabiner on. Pull some slack. I'm going to tie a prusik onto here and a VT. I'll show you it after I'm done. That way, I'm not just throwing it together and ignoring you. I'll kind of explain what I'm doing. So this all becomes a little cleaner of a setup with a hitch climber pulley because you have the additional holes and stuff. So here's where it gets fun. Okay. Let me orientate this the way I want it. Okay. That's nice. A little light on it. Alright, so you can see me now. Alright. So this end is the regular sewn eye of my rope, okay? So if we tie it in like this, we would take this, instead of leaving it just dangling, kind of pull it up, put it up out of the way, maybe put it off this side. So I take my wrench, okay? So next time if like I said, I've never tried. Now, I would work my way down like we did before. So can you see that? So there's the prusik with the micro pulley. Here's the wrench. Okay. Alright, so what you would do is I would, as I'm up there and I'm set in, I would hook this up and I would give myself some more slack here in this system. So before I drop down to the guy, pull some slack into there, put that on. So now I work my way down to the person, okay? Now that I'm down there, here's where this gets really cool to me. So, pull up. We're in there, okay? So this end that you have, it's free. You take this end, hook it to the guy, okay? So then, after you get it hooked to him down there, you lift yourself up. If you rope walk, whatever it is, foot lock, you lift yourself up, and get high up, and then when you release this one, it'll bring that up and bring you down a little bit. So if you watch this here, I'm trying to see the best way you'll see it. So here's the end. So watch. As I let out on this, you guys it's coming closer. So now I've only got this much. I've lifted the guy up. If I have to go up again, up above, then I let this out again. Until at one point I get him lifted all the way up. I need more height. I end up getting him lifted all the way up to where he's, oh, I'm using the wrong thing, my bad. All the way up. Now he's here, which is where you want him. So you got the guy, you got him anchored in, you're set. This is not coming out, this is safe. Then you can go over to this end and work both of you down in a safe way to get you both on the ground. So, does that make any sense? Like, do I need to explain that further? What's up, John? Makes complete sense? Yeah, I mean, listen to the, like, look at the benefits you're getting here. This is my favorite part. You're trying to lift somebody who's, they've passed out or they're hurt or whatever it may be. They're unconscious. You get to use your body weight to lift. So you could help even on that if the person was heavier. As you're letting it down, trying to help maybe pull up on it. Pull up until you get that person, once again, you get that person all the way up to you into position. Then you can, set yourself up, switch over to this, and let yourself down. Both of you come down now. Yeah, Nicholas, it is so smart. This is absolutely, that is not mine. So I want to make that clear. The person that I seen do this was Sam Finco, and he's a brilliant tree climber. I know him more from Instagram, but Sam is very, very, very skilled, and his understanding of stuff it's just awesome. I appreciate the way his brain works, or whoever came up with this, because as a climber, you learn all these little tricks, and the moving into the rope is the focus always. But at one point, it becomes so advanced that you start to focus on the stationary end of the rope, which I love. So with this technique, if I'm tied in like this, could I, in theory, here's where my brain went to right after it. Can I use this as work position? So, okay, I work over and I'm into this tree. Now, can I take and use this as a work positioning setup to help me at times? Like if you get on those ones that are real awkward, I guarantee you it would probably work really good if you're in something that's up above you. But this little technique here just seems really cool, and you could set this into place and get yourself from maybe shifting, or even if you had tons of slack into it, you could be tied in here. You throw your lanyard around, you're lanyarded in, but then you go take and throw this on. Let's say you wanted to shift your hips around. You could, I mean, in theory, yeah, you should be able to, okay? If I wanted to like shift just one hip around here, I would use a little trick and go like, I don't know if I could do that though. I want to. Let's see. If I wanted to shift this right hip, could I take this, shift it around with that? I was going to use another carabiner, but I was thinking without it, yeah. Because then I block this hip off from spinning backwards. Your lanyard at times will just spin you back and forth. Take that double wrap or set this up. This actually is hooked to just my hip over to here. And it has slack into the system, that way it's not keeping it taut. So, and all I did was do like a simple little girth loop there, where when I undo it, it's very simple. I just take and pull it through the loop there, and then pull the loop out. So, yeah, I want to play with this now. Now that I have these options, I want to be able to use it to like float myself at times. Let's see how that would work. So let's say, yeah, I'm tied in like there. How would I bring that in? Oh, I would just let it out to tighten it. Yeah, and now I'm locked off here, and I can float both positions. Then to come back out of it, I would just, the stationary end like you would hip thrust, pull some weight into it. Now you have slack here. You can undo that. So, this could be set up very quickly if I had to. I wouldn't so much worry about putting the micro pulley. It would be nice if you got it there and you could hook it up really quick. But let's say you're just climbing. If you kept a prusik on you and another carabiner, in theory, you could switch very quickly from just normal climbing. Well, you're probably not going to be climbing with another climber, so I don't know if that scenario is going to be even really appropriate. So I would say even to set it up, there's what it looks like. That's it. So you have the micro pulley. That's similar to dragging tail, but different, bro. Back to the BT. Yeah, they have this like technique where you're climbing. Let's say we're climbing DRT, and you just use just the micro pulley here, and you would find that center point between these two, and then clip it back to yourself, and now you've got yourself into that V setup. So these little tricks and stuff are the things that I'm going to focus more on in my membership. So it should be kind of fun. But yeah, and this is even simpler. Like, I would say it's probably a good idea as you're up there. You could, if it makes you feel safer, you could climb it. I would say set it up, and even if you wanted to climb it like this, like normal, or let's say you had to send your rope up SRT, that way you can get up there quicker. You could set it up, pull that thing up there, hook up, rope walk my way up the system, get up there to the system, lanyard in, unclip it, pull it down to DRT, and instead of clipping into that first one, I would say I would just clip in to your second. And it helps me, if you're using a device, put that, if you're going to use another micro pulley, do it the opposite way you would normally do it. Normally you'd want your micro pulley into your tending hand. I would put it the opposite because you're already going to have a device in your tending hand. So then before I took off, I would, from my lanyard spot, I would just put myself some length in here. Just think about body length, and this is probably a good thing to practice. That way you're familiar with it. Now I got about a body length here. I can work my way all the way down to the guy. After I get to him, then I can take this, hook up to him, then try to go up again, then grab the top there, and work my way down to him, back up again, work my way back down to him, using my body weight to lift him, back up one more time, and then dropping down onto, and then what it's done is it's lifted him up where I can secure him, lock him off. I don't know if they use straps or whatever. I would just be looking to get a hold of the guy. That way I can clip him into me, and we can, whether we got to disconnect his rope, whatever we got to do, and get him down. So after you're there, then you're just working your normal climbing system over here and letting both of you down. That, when I seen it, seemed much more complicated, but I think I had some time to really think about it and what was going on with it, and it didn't take me too long for it to start clicking why everything was working. What's going on, Richard? Yeah, no one appreciates the climbing techniques. They just think it's crazy, and I understand that. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, maybe if you learned anything or enjoyed watching or were just entertained by some silly hillbilly, you can hit the thumb button. It like helps me. Maybe one day I'll make a couple bucks from YouTube. I'm stoked on the membership though. I'm like, I have to go get this. It's been something I've needed for a while during our live feeds, and I have a few more accessories I have to get to make it a little more fun. But yeah. In the trees, what's going on? Yeah, it's a very, very smart setup. It really, really is. Climbing's hard work. It's a passion. Yeah. If it's gonna be something you do long term and on the regular, you gotta find some sort of passion into it. What was the name? My phone's so cracked up. Arhino? I have to agree with you. 80 people, 5 thumbs. Doc, that's just how they roll, Doc. Some hard-working people in here. There's probably been fingers cut off. I don't blame them. They're just mesmerized by the silly hillbilly out in his woodshed. How did that hillbilly figure that out? I don't know. I don't know how he figured it out either. Yeah, so a fun little technique, just something that when I seen it, it blew my mind in the simplicity of it, because that's things that I've thought about messing with is the stationary end of the rope, but I've never thought about this secondary climbing system being attached that allows you to do something like that. And then when they integrated it to make it so you could lift a person that's injured, I'm like, this is amazing. What gear were you using? What do you have there? So I have, this is what I was using. So you have the Rope Runner Pro. I saw the climbing gear and stuff sign, and barn fire. Hate to see that, Sasha. Dang. So, yeah, it's just a simple notch micro pulley that I have on it, carabiner, and I suggest the micro pulley in case you were to have to tend anything up, and it's just going to allow it to work, maybe give it a little help, who knows. But yeah, that is just a, I think it's an Iron Street Brusik. You gotta think though, even this one holding all that much is not super important, because all the braking and friction is being added with your device over here. This could just as easily be, let's do that while I'm talking to you guys. 107 people in here, hit the thumbs. Yeah, hit the thumb button. Hit the thumb button. Alright, so let's do this. Let's switch it and take that off. And you know what? Let's see, would the zigzag work? Because that's probably the most popular. Greg, what's up, brother? There's my guy. So, the most commonly used device, I would say, has to be the zigzag. So, if we switch over and we take the Rope Runner Pro off, take the alien device off. For those people that don't know tree climbing and you're just randomly swinging through YouTube, this is how I fly into the trees, is this magical device. We got the technology from them drones that was flying around Jersey. But yeah, you should get one. I should give you a link that you buy one and I make money from it. That would be even cooler. I'm not a real YouTuber though. I haven't figured out enough ways to take your money yet. I'll get there. I'll get there. You just wait. Okay. There'll be a zigzag in here somewhere. There it is. Oh no, you get to watch my struggles trying to get the zigzag, the pin out of the, oh, I did it. That's the fastest I've ever done it in my life. Okay. So, now we have the zigzag. This one they've had since like the 60s. They got this one from that Roswell crash, but also another device where you fly. Pretty cool. So let's see. I mean, my brain's already done the work for this, and I know right now this is gonna work with the zigzag. So it's just does everything align as good as it does with the hitch climber or the rope runner pro. So actually this ends up being even cleaner because this device clips back to itself. So you're going to clip in to the zigzag. You've got it hooked up like that. Now you go to clip in. Okay. Then that slack up. You're tied in here. And just like before, you take in the slack and you put this end onto the guy. And as you let your body weight down and lift yourself back up and let your body weight down, the guy lifts up into the air, into a safe position for you to rescue him and take him down. So if Sam Finco, which I should have checked this before I did this video even, if Sam has a YouTube channel, I would recommend everybody go subscribe to it because that's where this came from. I'm not trying to pretend like I reinvented the wheel or come up with something, you know, that no one else knew. This was something I seen and I just duplicated. That's all I did. This is from a gentleman who is probably way more like qualified. I don't even know if that's the correct word. He's more prolific in the rescue, like technical stuff of arboriculture and in, you know, being an arborist in general. So once again, getting to see something. Why didn't I think? Yeah, what's up, Jeff? Kinda. I just seen this technique. Here, I'll show you. Since Jeff, you just showed up, and because it's so simple, I'll show you one more time. So, what I have is a zigzag setup. Okay? I'm tied in, Jeff. I work my way up. Now, let's say a guy passed out and you were rescuing him. You go up into the tree, you set your DRT up, you come down. Now this setup, if you notice, there's a prusik and a micro pulley on the stationary end of the DRT. So you put it up above it. Before, as you get up there and you're getting ready to drop yourself down onto to where the guy's at, you would make sure that you have enough slack in this rope that hangs right below you. That way you get the best access. So then, now that I have about that much length, I would just work my way down to the guy. Okay, now when I get to him, I take this end of the rope and I clip it to him, okay? Here's where the genius in this comes in. I rope walk up a little bit, then I go to the stationary end and I let this out. So what happens is now my body weight is lifting him up. I'm dropping down, it's actually lifting him. Now I only have about half of what was there. Then I rope walk up a little more, and I go to the stationary end. I let myself down, and you continue doing that, Jeff, until you get the man into a safe position that you can put him. Now he's up towards your hips. You can lock him in, then move back over to your other system, your regular system, and work your way down. So, just a very simple, genius setup to rescue someone. So, not something I came up with, but yeah. And also, Jeff, I just wanted to mess with this technique, show that way that little thing right there gets out to more people. Because let's say someone gets super injured, you could get up there and get them with just a prusik, your normal climbing setup, a prusik and a lanyard, or a prusik and a micro pulley clip. So it's stuff that most guys have. You don't have to have the zigzag. Use a regular micro pulley and however you climb. So it's so genius. But my brain instantly went to, now can I use this end in everyday production as a work positioning thing? And I think I can. So I'm going to start kind of messing with it and see what happens. But I feel like I can start using that end of the rope for some work positioning tricks. Or let's say you're rigging down that really big piece, and it gets stuck in a fork or a crotch, and you got to lift up on it. I wonder if you could use that technique with your body weight and like lift it up out of there, so they could rig it back down. I don't know if you want to be hooked to the piece, but yeah, I don't know. It just made my brain like finally. It's been quite a while in tree work since my brain's been like triggered to where I feel like, oh wow, that's something I don't know, and something that I could learn something completely. You learn little nuances, you learn little tricks. That's not a nuance, that's not a trick, that's something else right there. Not only does that possibly save someone's life one day, it's thought-provoking for a guy who tries to master work positioning and climbing and angles and all of this stuff. I don't know, Ground Pounder. I really don't know. I may have, because like that, I'm sure that has a proper name for that technique. Problem is, I'm a hillbilly who just seen it and was like, whoa, that's cool. I wonder if I can do that. So, if I'm being honest, this whole live feed was a pretty good chance for me to just look like a complete idiot. And it kind of went way better than I expected it to go. So, pretty stoked on that, because I feel like I've spent enough time looking like an idiot on the internet. I don't need to do any more. Oh. Would you like to go over it really quick? Let's hear it. What do you got? You don't look like. I try not to. There's times where I've just, the fact that I start using things like this and they're not locked into the ground, so I'm trying to do demonstrations and they fall over, and don't give me that. I've looked like an idiot many, many, many times. So, but yeah, I'm in awe of this simple setup, and I love it. Right on, Ground Pounder, do it. Yeah. Or make us a video. Dude, just make just a straight video on your phone and upload it straight to YouTube. are you able to rescue someone who weighs more on that system? I would think, if you think about it, sorry, I want to get your name, Nicholas. If you think about it, yeah, I would just think you. The problem a lot of times is getting them up to you, because even if you're letting yourself down onto them, um, your body weight is now helping in that thing. Where normally you would have to like try to lift them up into a position, you can get a little help with this. And I think, as long as you can get them that close to you where you're tied in, and they get all the way to your climbing system. Now they're this close, which in theory you should be able to lock them up, and then even if you had to roll or whatever to get into the climbing setup to lower you guys down, I'm sure it's not going to be super easy if the person's larger than you, but yeah, I would think it's possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I'm intrigued and I don't do tree work. That's awesome, Doc. Well, then I really appreciate you just hanging around, dude. We're close to it with what you are doing there. VT is on the wrong spot. Huh, really? That's wild. Yeah, you have to show me. I could see where you could do this setup as you're working, and then say you have a long ways from your tie-in point, you could lanyard in somewhere, pull in a bunch of slack into this setup, then set back into it, then throw that up over a branch, and then bring it back and clip to you. You could clip right to the carabiner, I guess, if you needed to, that you're anchored to. But yeah, or to one of your, like I was saying before, you could be tied in like this, throw that up over a branch, and if you needed to turn this hip in, you could turn that hip in by letting out on that, and it'll pull your hip in or this way. Those are little tricks that I love using, because I've been in those positions where if I could just get my hips pulled a little bit more, it'd be safer. So like hip positioning for me is a big thing, and I've messed with it in many different ways to try to figure it out. And a lot of times the correct hip positioning on whatever it is you're doing, the outcome, you don't end up gapping out or getting shook out, or the ride being so violent. And Yank, what's up, brother? How are you? I'll send it to you right on ground powder. That's cool. Well, maybe we'll do one on it, man. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. So this was just, man, if I'm being honest, I was kind of bored. I was like, well, I'd like to make a video, but my editor's been giving me such a headache that I just don't feel like even messing with it right now. And I was like, you know what? I want to show that technique. But my brain kept saying, dude, you need to go outside and mess with it and try it and figure it out and stuff. Just because you watched, I seen what was a 15-second clip, okay? All of this came from about a 15-second clip. And I just was amazed. It made sense to me what was going on there. Like, I understood the nuances, but I didn't. I'm like, how? There's got to be proper ways of setting that up to where things are happening that I'm not totally registering yet. But I know if I could just go outside, I can set it up. I don't know. I think that I can figure it out by doing that. And yeah, I was stoked when this all kind of worked out. So. Oh no, what'd you say? I'm ghosted from the bubblegum tripping on me. What? No. What are you using for an anchor in the top. Oh no, okay. Sorry, Jay. I didn't see it. It's just a stupid pulley. And there, I'll show you. So there's a board up there. I've never been in the attic of this place. I just went in the attic of the house for the first couple times here recently. I don't know what's up in this attic, but there's stuff up there. There's like a board that comes down that maybe is for like setting a ladder against or something. But yeah, I put a C-clamp up there on that board, and I'm using just an old block. I don't know how I've dropped that so many times. But yeah, Jay, if I was gonna go up into it and set this system up, I really like. I have a friction saver that I really like, and the reason for it is you can set it up on one end before you put your climbing thing on, or whatever device you're using. So you can usually set that end up, set your climbing device, even if you use it all the way up, and then the other end, this end here that's got the other ring on it, it goes through it even with a sewn eye. So then when you go to retrieve it, when you go to retrieve it, it goes through that one and catches the little one. But yeah, I like this friction saver. If I'm being honest, it's probably my favorite one. But if I was trying to set up like that, I would more than likely, that's actually a good thing to talk about. Where did I put that? I would say if I'm up there and you're going to rescue someone, it wouldn't be a bad idea, Jay, to are you turning level, Doc? Alright, so I would say if I knew I was getting ready to rescue somebody, I would go up and I would hook up with one of these straps and a micro pulley, because I could go up there no matter how I was set up real quick, and I could put this strap around the tree. I can grab this and I can clip this in really easy, which I like, even if I was already set up here. However I was set up, I can just clip this thing in, hook it to the strap, and now as I'm climbing on a moving rope or DRT, I do now have a mechanical advantage. So that's probably a good thing to point out. If you are attempting that rescue, if you could possibly get up in to where your anchor's at, and as you're, actually the more I think about it, I think it is a good thing. Jay coming in clutch. It's that membership mind, man. No, you can't. Jay, did that come from Jay? You can't send me money. You can't send me money. Dude. Towards the phone. No. Yeah, maybe. That would be nice. Maybe one of these days, and then you guys don't have to watch these videos where it looks like I'm recording from a toaster. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you, brother. You're the man. Alright, so, yeah, I would say a really smart thing, you're getting ready to rescue somebody. A lot of times, you can use their rope even to get up into the tree, if you had to. Then after you get up there, I would try to set up something like this. I think it's probably a really good idea. Oh, now I have this. Yeah, I can't do that. I forgot I still have this thing in the middle. So, yeah, set up on a micro pulley as you're getting ready to do it, or some sort of a pulley, and then climb off of that, because then you're getting a mechanical advantage when you go to lift the person into position from a pulley that you wouldn't be getting. I wouldn't say attempt it unless you had to. If you have to, you have to. Go natural crotch, just get the job done, get the guy out of the tree, get him on the ground. So, I mean, who knows? This is what amazes me. I could have been sitting around and I think about this. I could have been sitting around a little while ago watching like Instagram models or something. But randomly, I'm on YouTube and I already looked at the Instagram models, so I could go to YouTube. But so then I'm on YouTube, I'm just chilling, and this video goes across my screen, and I watch. I'm like, holy shoot, what the heck? Check that out. No way. So I've always thought about it. What would I do if I had to rescue somebody? Well, I would climb up there as fast as I could, frantically, and do my best to manhandle them and get them into position. I've never even thought this much into rescuing someone, which is kind of makes me feel like a bit of a knucklehead. But I'm always the guy that's up there. So, what do you think say? GP is actually stuffing things. But yeah, normally, I guess the reason I don't think about it, if I was looking up at a guy all the time, but and for me, one day that's what I would love, is to not always be that guy, and not always have to be that guy. So this is, for me, something I'll take to my grave with me, and know that at any point I could quickly set someone up and rescue them, and feel confident as I do it because of this. Gauges left. Yeah, Jay, I seen you. Like, I started the video. I don't remember. I think I may have made it the first few minutes, and then my daughter comes through the door, so I still got to finish up. But someone can clip into it. Don't trust Gregory. No question about the base anchor. Why not just alpine butterfly or circus knot between the base tie and the tree? Because then your weight most of the time is going to be into the system. The Gree setup will allow you to take a person, and whether I was out hanging and I got hit and I'm hanging there. If I'm hanging there, you're probably not going to be able to gently lower me with a base anchor and get my weight off of it and stuff like that. Where with that setup, or if we wanted with that setup, you could very easily do it. Look, I mean, what we got here. Let's do this. You could use this setup right here if you wanted to. And if I was going to time SRT, but we're going to pretend like I'm SRT on this though. Right? Or we could use just even the zigzag. So let's say I'm climbing on that end. You just hook it up the same way, no matter what device it was. As long as, you have enough rope afterwards that the person's... That's the reason when I set when I set this up with the anchor here, and I use the Gree, I would use the Gree and trust it 1,000%, because it's not just the Gree that you're climbing on. So now we've got about enough rope. Oh, hang on, my bad. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, so you're climbing on this end. Okay? This will be your anchor end. So, I mean, I guess you could set this up Yeah, I mean, you could set it up just like this if you wanted. And just like I did before, now you're on a prusik. You're not on the gree-gree. That's the way you want to set it up. Now you can't see that, can you? So now you're hooked in, and pretend I don't climb with ropes going, so I go onto the tree. I don't do this silly angled stuff. This is just for demonstrations. So I'm able now to climb on this end, do whatever I gotta do, and I'm rescue ready here. But I wouldn't leave it set up like this. That, there's a chance somebody comes by and bumps that. And I'm not taking that risk. So, as I would be locked in, and all I did before is this is where the gree-gree was at. So the only difference is there's a rope and a micro pulley, and it's the same. So just like I did with the gree-gree, right underneath it, I would put a backup, just in case. Tie it like a double overhand, whatever kind of knot you wanted. If you want to tie a butterfly, I would hook that up, and I would go back, and I would clip this carabiner. So I'm climbing, I'm doing my thing, and I pass out, whatever happens, and they can lower me out without hurting me. I want them to have the option. So as I'm sitting there, they can go over to this, easily unclip out of that, take that knot out. Now have one guy hold this as the other guy's working to try to let you down. So this setup right here was the exact same with the gree-gree, except for, in my opinion, a little cleaner, and it actually gives the guys like a trigger to use. So gree-gree right there, it gets clipped in. I keep another carabiner on there because it just keeps me from having to go back to this one and clip to it multiple times. So I would lock this one off for the device. It can't come off now. Tighten it up real good. Okay, I'm into position, but before I go start my climb, I will back myself up just for emergency purposes. Not after it. Whatever that on the rope that you would be feeding into it to let me down. Okay, can I clip it off? Now it's actually tight on the device. There's slack, but it is a backup in case something was to happen to this. At any point, if this was to come off, now I'm still safe. That backs it up. So no matter what you use, if you try to set yourself up rescue ready, always give it a backup. And on top of that, some guys just set more than one rope. They set a rescue rope for an emergency, and then they set their rope. So alright, well, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Hope it made sense. Hope I didn't bore anybody. Where did that come from? Yeah, probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you had yourself some extra micro pulleys or had yourself some extra prusiks. Very simple things. And an extra rope. Having a rescue ready setup there. that is, if emergency happens, you run over, you grab that bag, pull it over, it's set up for it. You put your fastest climbing system on to get up there, and then you got your rescue ready set up that you clip into. I think they should probably be the same, or you're spending too much time switching over. Maybe not. But the thing about it is, now that I know that, the next step is to break down the processing of getting up there and into the rescue ready setup. How, now that I know this, how can I make that faster? Like, you have to lay yourself a path before you can have this big epiphany and opening and make it, like, you have to work your way there. So now I can take that next step to try to make it a little better, a little faster, a little nicer. Thank you, Greg. Oh. Yeah, reminder, I put a video up on my, community page. It's, the guy's starting his YouTube channel, I think. So, just a little helping hand, trying to maybe get him some more views. And he put out a video where he was cutting a limb. It laid across a electric wire. He got shocked, but didn't end up. I mean, he could have killed it. It definitely could have killed him. So, thank you, Jay. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. You're the man, as always. Thank you, Ground Pounder. Yeah, so we ended up with 20 thumbs. That's unreal. And thank you, Jay, to the for the super chat. I appreciate that. I kept looking up and it looked like my phone said that it had $774 worth of super chats, but it's not. That's $7.74 because YouTube made sure they pulled their money right from the get-go. Jeez, YouTube. You didn't even let the live feed in? Doc, appreciate you hanging out, brother. I really do. Ground Pounder, you taking off? Alright, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you all. If anything in the video confused you and you have any questions, I'm not the best in the world at this, but I'll do my best to answer. Yeah, I hope it's helped you. If you like this kind of stuff, I do have memberships where I do a little extra content over there. I think it's $4.99 for a month. So I think that's about as cheap as most as they get. So yeah, maybe think about trying that. And yeah, I'll see you Saturday. Jeffrey, thanks for hanging out, brother. Ground Pounder, I'll catch you later. Yeah, if you get a chance, shoot me a video or something, or tag me in a video or something if there's like a video of it. But guys, thank you. Greg, I'll talk to you later, brother. Guys, have a good night.